Welcome back everyone to this amazing platform of PW NEET English. Here we'll learn with fun. Myself Biswajit, your zoology mentor. Today we'll learn the whole topic from class 11 chapters Cockroach. And after completion of this video, we have to practice some really important questions and the DPPs and the practice sheets you are gonna get from our PW app. Yes, the link you're gonna get in the description box just below here. And again, I'm welcoming you all to this most loved platform of Physics Wala. So let's start. So the topics we're gonna cover in this chapter, basically morphology and anatomy of cockroach. Now what do you mean by morphology? Morphological study means study of external features, and anatomy means study of internal features, where we talk about different systems, different organs like digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, nervous system, excretory system and reproductive system, right? Yes, these images are quite interesting, right? This is from our favorite cartoon Augie and the Cockroaches. We know everyone, we love these cockroaches, right? Every time they will be doing some mischievous activities and disturbing our favorite Augie. So let's start with the morphology of cockroach and let's start the introductory part. So like the previous topic frog, we'll try to make the Aadhaar card of our cute cockroach party. Yes. So this is the DP, like you have your DP in your WhatsApp, cockroaches also have the DP, right? Now the scientific name of our cockroach is Periplaneta americana, right? The kingdom of cockroach is similar to us, that is Animalia. The phylum of cockroach, they belong to the phylum Arthropoda. Now, who are Arthropoda? If you observe the appendages or legs of cockroach, then you will find that basically they are jointed by arthroidal membrane. That's why we call them arthropoda, the animals with jointed appendage. The animals with jointed appendage. Okay. The class of the cockroach. Cockroach belongs to the largest class of animal kingdom, that is class Insecta. Now, what do you mean by Insecta? Insects are those arthropods who has 3 pairs of legs, mean 6 legs. They have 1 pair of antenna. One of their important sensory organs. Yes. Okay. Now we'll talk about their color. So basically they are highly diversified. You can consider these cockroaches one of the oldest animal in this earth. Also sometimes we call them the living fossils, means the related arthropods which are related to cockroach, when they were evolved in this earth, basically till date most of them are dead, but cockroaches are alive. That's why we call them living fossil. Okay, so they are highly diversified, and when you talk about their color, few are brown or black in color, few are yellowish in nature, like if you observe the German cockroaches. Few cockroaches, they are red in color, oriental cockroaches, and few are even green in color. Okay. The size of cockroach, again, they'll be varying from 1/4 of an inch to 3 inches. Like German cockroaches, they're very small ones, and this Periplaneta americana or American cockroach, as well as Oriental cockroach, they're very larger ones. Okay, they have two long filiform antennae. The sense organs, right? And what do you mean by filiform? It's thread like structure. If you observe cockroach, they have thread like antennas, that's why we call it filiform. Okay, they have 6 thoracic legs. Important point to be noted, very very important. That is exclusive feature of insects. They have 3 pairs of legs, and those legs are thoracic legs, means they are originated from thoracic segments, right? They are nocturnal in nature. Nocturnal means when you will sleep after your dinner, peacefully you are sleeping. Now when there is darkness in your room, in your kitchen, in your washroom, gradually they will come out of their moist and damp cracks and crevices near to your house. Even they will come out from manholes, and they will gradually enter into your kitchen or into your washroom, because those they like to dwell in such places where they will be finding organic matters upon like they will be feeding upon organic matters, and the place should be moist and damp, and that is our kitchen and washroom, and they will be doing party in late night, right? Gradually they will come out of a crevice, and they will start their night party, late night party. And they are omnivorous in nature. Now what do you mean by omnivore? They eat everything. So why सब कुछ खा लूंगा. Okay, they eat everything. Omnivores, they'll be eating vegetables, they'll be eating pieces of meats. Okay, even sometimes they exhibits cannibalism, means sometimes if they're like voracious, when they will feel too much hungry, they even kill and eat their own species. That's why we call them cannibals. Okay, now what about their habitat? Habitat means the place where they dwell. They like to live in dark, damp, moist places, and they prefer cracks and crevices. And obviously, do not forget that they're not our friends. They're serious pest and vector of many diseases like salmonellosis, typhoid, cholera, gastroenteritis, because they are thriving here and there in dirty places, and they are collecting themselves, they are getting infected by multiple pathogens. And that is the reason when those cockroach party used to disturb Augie, always he used to too much like he used to so concerned about how to drive them out of their out of his house. Like, so always we can if we watch that cartoon Augie and the Cockroaches, Augie is always trying to kick them out or eliminate them out from his room or from his house, right? Okay, so you can see two beautiful cockroaches you can observe, right? Now we are going to talk about the morphology of cockroach. So you can observe the triangular head with biting and chewing mouth parts, the filiform antennas, the thorax part, the thoracic legs, and obviously this is the wings and abdominal part. So let's study in detail about their morphology. Now before jumping into the morphology, here we can observe few of the examples of different species of cockroach. So this is our Periplaneta americana or American cockroach. This is Blatella germanica, or German cockroach, and these are examples of Blatta orientalis or oriental cockroach. They're largest among cockroaches, right? And this cockroach is the favorite insect of girls, right? That's why when girls specifically when girls will observe this cockroach, they feel really happy, right? Okay. Now basically when we are talking about morphology, we'll be talking about their head. Their body is divided into three distinct parts: head, thorax, and abdomen, and associated appendages. Okay. So if you observe the developmental phases of cockroach, we'll compare the different somites or body parts of cockroach. See, they are arthropods. Their body is externally segmented. Their body is externally segmented. If you look the diagram or these images, the pictures of these cockroaches, you can feel that their bodies are really segmented. Okay, and these segments and these external hard segments, they are made up of chitin. So if we compare those segmented parts and in between the embryo and adult, we'll be comparing the segments present in head, segments present in thorax, and segments present in abdomen. Okay. Now the head of embryonic cockroach, it has 6 segments, but when they will mature into adult, the 6 segments will get fused and will form one single triangular capsule like head. When you talk about their thorax, embryonic stage has 3 parts or 3 segments, and that will be similar in case of adults. If we talk about abdominal part of embryonic cockroach, it has 11 segments. We are talking about their body segments. But in adult cockroach, there will be 10 segments present in abdomen. So altogether, if you count, adult cockroach has 10 plus 3 plus 1, total 14 segments in their body, right? And embryonic cockroach, they have 11 plus 3, 14 plus 6, total 20 segments. Okay. Now let's talk about their different body parts. So this will be their head. After head, they have 3 segments of thorax, prothorax, mesothorax, metathorax. 3 segment of thorax, and after thorax they have abdomen, and this abdomen has 10 segments. The head region, the head has 2 complex eyes, 2 vestigial simple eyes or ocellus, 2 filiform segmented antenna, okay, and obviously the head region also has the biting and chewing mouth parts. The first thorax is called prothorax. It has 1 pair of jointed legs. Mesothorax, the middle one, it also has 1 pair of legs. Metathorax, the last segment of the thorax, it also has 1 pair of legs. So totally they have 3 pairs of legs. Prothoracic legs, mesothoracic legs, and metathoracic legs. Okay. Now if you observe their abdominal region, the 10th segment, see both male and female, they have 10 segments in their abdomen. The 10th segment has another segmented structure which also help them to sense the sound or act as a sound receptor, which we call anal cerci, right? So this is the basic body design. And what else you can observe? For the first segment of thorax, there is no wing. Yes, for second segment, there will be 1 pair of wings associated with it, that is called prothoracic or 4 wings. And with third segment of thorax, that is called metathorax, will get associated wings, 2 associated wings, we call them hind wings or metathoracic wings. So with the diagram, let's detail it. Okay, so this is the head of cockroach. This is a diagram from NCERT, and that head has 1 pair of compound eyes. Head has 1 pair of filiform or thread-like antenna. Now after head we got thoracic segments. See, the first thorax, we call it prothorax. That prothorax is covered by a hard chitinous exoskeletal part, that is called pronotum. Then after prothorax, they have mesothorax, that is also covered by an exoskeletal part called mesonotum. And the third thoracic part, that is called metathorax, that is also covered by chitinous exoskeleton called metanotum, right? From prothorax, there will be origin of prothoracic, that is 1 pair of prothoracic leg is originated from prothorax. 1 pair of mesothoracic legs originated from mesothorax. 1 pair of metathoracic legs originated from metathorax. Okay, but when you talk about their wings, this is their forewing, Basically these four wings are also called tegmina. You can call it four wing. The tegmina also can be called four wing, which is originated from the second thorax. So four wing got another name. You can call that four wing as mesothoracic wing. Four wing also can be called as mesothoracic wing. Okay. From metathorax or third thoracic segment, there is origin of one pair of membranous hind wings. Hind wings can be also called metathoracic wing. Okay. Now, we have already discussed there are 10 segments in their abdominal part, and the segmented appendage which is attached with the 10th segment of abdomen, that we call anal cerci, and this anal cerci is present in both male and female. Anal cerci is present in both male and female, and this anal cerci act as phonoreceptor or sound receptor. Okay. Now, in case of male cockroaches, there will be one more pair of or two anal style which are associated with their 9th segment, right? So here you can easily observe the wing, forewing, which is dark, leathery and hard in structure, and the hind wing, which is thin and membranous in nature. So let's differentiate between their wings and their body parts. So that was overall morphology of cockroach. The head of cockroach is a triangular capsule. Head is basically triangular capsule. Head is formed by fusion of 6 segments. The location of head, see, if you observe this cockroach, this is the body axis, this is the main body axis, and head is present downwards to that, means at right angle, at 90-degree angle of the body axis. So this positioning of head is called hypognathous position, right? So that's why we will be naming the head as hypognathous head and mouth parts. The head has biting and chewing type mouth parts. The head has two compound eyes, two non-functional or vestigial simple eyes. These simple eyes are also named as ocelli or in singular ocellus. Head has one pair of filiform antenna. Okay. Now the head is connected to their body. The head is connected to their body with the help of a flexible neck. Head is connected to their body with the help of flexible neck, and the neck is freely movable. The neck is freely movable, and the neck part is basically the extension of their thoracic segments. Okay, now let's talk about the thorax. First thorax is called prothorax. Second thorax is called mesothorax, middle. Third thorax is called metathorax. Okay, prothorax, it has two legs. Every thoracic segment has two legs. But mesothorax has two forewings. Metathorax has two hind wings. What is the difference between their forewing and hind wing? Forewings, they are leathery, thick, dark, hard, and they protect their hind wings. So they are protective in nature. What about their hind wings? Hind wings are membranous, thin, transparent, and basically it's the hind wings with the help a cockroach will fly. So they're responsible for flight of cockroach. So that's their differences. Okay. Now let's talk about their abdominal region. So abdomen has 10 segments, both in case of male as well as female, right? Abdomen has 10 segments in case of male and female. Abdomen has anal cerci, one pair or two anal cerci, and that is associated with the 10th segment, and that is also present in both male and female cockroach. Okay. If you are talking about anal style, they have two anal style present on 9th segment, but this anal style is present only in male cockroach. If you observe the cockroach from the ventral side, this is the wing, this is the abdomen, if this is 10th segment, then this is 9th segment. From 10th segment, you'll observe formation of these segmented parts called anal cerci, but in 9th segment you will find anal style, which are hair-like structure and non-segmented in nature. So this is anal style, this is anal cerci. Anal cerci is segmented, anal style is non-segmented. Okay, and now we'll talk about another exclusive feature of arthropods. The body of arthropod is covered by exoskeleton. Okay, and this exoskeleton means their body is covered from outside. A hard covering of chitin that protect their body. We have endoskeleton, cockroaches, they have exoskeletal covering, right? And what I said, this exoskeleton is made by chitin. This exoskeleton is made up of chitinous plates called sclerites. Now, what do you know about this chitin? Chitin is basically a polysaccharide which is made up of, basically this is a homopolymer this chitin is made up of a sugar called N-acetyl glucosamine or NAG, right? So chitin is made by NAG or N-acetyl glucosamine. Okay, now let's come back to our original topic. We're talking about their exoskeleton. So this is the dorsal part of their body and this is the ventral part of their body. So these dorsal exoskeleton plates which are connected by arthroidal membrane. We call these dorsal plates as tergites or terga. And how many tergites or terga are there? Total 10. And these ventral plates, we call them sternites or sterna, and total number of sterna are 9. So dorsal sclerites or dorsal exoskeletal chitinous plates are called tergites or terga. Ventral plates are called sternites or sterna. There are total 9 tergites and total there are 9 sternites. Okay, and the plates which are covering these thoracic segments, we call them notum, pronotum, mesonotum and metanotum. There are certain lateral plates are also present. So these lateral plates are called pleurites or pleurons. So these pleurites or pleurons, they are lateral plates. Sternites, they are ventral plates. And tergites or terga, they are dorsal plates. Again, I am recapping this topic. Their body is covered by chitinous plates called sclerite. There are 3 types of sclerites. When they are present dorsally, we call them tergites. When they are present ventrally, we call them sternites. When they are present laterally, we call them pleurites. And all these plates, they are made by chitin. Now we'll move forward to our next topic, that is mouth parts. Okay, so mouth parts, they are associated with head. So it's written their head is triangular in shape and lies anteriorly at right angle to the longitudinal body axis. That's why we call it hypognathous position of head. Hypognathous position of head. It is formed by the fusion of 6 segments and shows great mobility in all directions due to their flexible neck. Okay, now here you can observe their mouth parts. Now, what are the segments you will get in mouth parts? Mouth parts are biting and chewing type, and the segments of mouth parts are labrum, labium, mandible, maxilla, and hypopharynx. Okay, better we'll write this into another slide. Mouth parts, they are biting and chewing type. The mouth parts have labrum or upper lip, labium or lower lip, mandible. Mandible helps them in grinding and incising or cutting. Mandible helps them to grind or cut the food. Maxilla, and lastly hypopharynx. Hypopharynx basically act as their tongue, chitinous tongue, that is not the real tongue. Basically this hypopharynx helps them to mix their food particles after grinding, and that is present inside their buccal cavity. So you need to remember or you need to draw the diagram again and again by your own to make it, that will make your path easier. So this is the head part. Head has a compound eye, means two compound eyes, both the sides. This is the simple eye, ocellus, membranous socket and antenna. And the frontwards, you will get the labrum. The backwards, you will get the labium, and after labrum the part is available here, that is the mandible. Near to labium, they have maxilla. And this labium and maxilla, they have certain appendage kind of structure associated with them, so we call them palps. So the labium and maxilla also has labial pulp and maxillary pulps. Now what is the function of these pulps associated with these maxilla and labium? The pulps are basically appendages structure with some fine hairs that helps them to collect the taste of food while they are chewing or biting it. Okay. Now I'll talk about their eyes. So they have one pair of compound eyes. So here you can observe their one pair of compound eyes, right? And these two white spot like structure, these are their simple eyes or ocellus. Now this compound eyes is made by each compound eye. One compound eye has 2000 subunits, and we call those subunits as ommatidium. Ommatidia in plural, ommatidium in singular. So basically, what is the difference between simple eye and compound eye? If I am talking about simple eye, then it has one single lens. If I am talking about compound eye, then the eye will be divided into multiple grids, and these grids will represent each units, and they have multiple lens. So simple eye, one lens. Compound eye, one eye, multiple lens. For cockroach, one compound eye has 2000 lens or subunits. So that's why with the help of their eyes, basically the image they will form, that is called their mosaic vision. With the help of their compound eyes, the vision they produce, that is kind of a low megapixel image and kind of blurry image, that is called mosaic vision. And mosaic vision is developed for night, so this kind of vision is also called nocturnal vision. That means their vision has low resolution, means very low megapixel image, blurry image, but they can their vision is like developed or evolved for night in very low light, even when there is negligible amount of light, very low intensity of light, they can observe the things. So that is called high sensitivity. So that is the charisma of their compound eyes with high sensitivity but low resolution. Okay. So this is the practical, that how their mosaic vision works. See, basically from if you are observing this particular picture from far, you can observe this is basically a garden of some flowers. But if you are observing from like closer to this board, then I really cannot guess that what about the picture is, right? So this kind of vision is called mosaic vision. Basically there is a low megapixel image. You can observe these are the dots of megapixel. These are the dots of pixel. From near, the vision is blurry, but if I am observing from a far region, then I can clearly understand that this is a image of some flowers. Now we'll start the anatomical structures of cockroach. That means we need to study about different systems and organs. So we'll start the anatomical study with the digestive system. Okay, so let's label the diagram of digestive system. So basically this part is the mouth of cockroach, and after mouth they have pharynx and esophagus. Now at this junction they have salivary glands which secretes saliva, and this saliva is stored into salivary reservoirs. So these are salivary glands, salivary gland, and this is salivary reservoir. Okay. After that, you can observe the part of the initial part of their alimentary canal, that is esophagus or food pipe. Okay, so after esophagus or food pipe, there will be a large bag-like structure which will act as storage, temporary storage of their food. Basically, they are very much voracious. When they are ingesting the food, they will not chew it properly, though they have a grinder present to their mouth, that is their mandibles, but the complete chewing or complete grinding will be completed into this gizzard location. So before gizzard and after esophagus, there is a part called crop. There is a complete, temporary storage of food. Now, with the help of a special sphincter, gradually the stored food from crop will be passed into the next chamber, which has circular muscles and chitinous teeth. We call it gizzard. See, Z has teeth-like structure, right? Gizzard or proventriculus. Proventriculus. Ventriculus means stomach. So that is a kind of this gizzard, a primitive stomach. That's why we are calling it as a proventriculus. And remember, this gizzard has 6 to 8 chitinous teeth. To crush the food into smaller particles, and also this gizzard has circular muscle, and the contraction of those circular muscle will help in the process of crushing. Okay. Now from mouth to gizzard, this was part of foregut. from mouth to gizzard, this is part of foregut, and the foregut is internally lined by, this foregut is internally lined by cuticle, chitinous cuticle. Why there is lining of chitinous cuticle? This is because the food they are eating, they have some hard particles that can damage the inner wall of foregut. That's why, to prevent this damage, the foregut is protected by this chitinous cuticular layer. Okay. Now what after gizzard? After gizzard, the part is called midgut. After gizzard, the part of their alimentary canal, we call it midgut or mesenteron. But the junction of foregut and midgut, there are some 6 to 8 blind tubules, blind tubular structures present, which are responsible for secretion of digestive juice, because ultimately the complete digestion and absorption gonna take place into the midgut region. So the junction of foregut and midgut will get gastric ceca or hepatic ceca. How many gastric or hepatic ceca are there? 6 to 8 in number, and they act as a liver and secrete digestive juice. So again I am repeating, at the junction of foregut and midgut, the junction of foregut and midgut will find 6 to 8 blind tubules, means tiny tubes which are responsible for production of digestive juice inside the midgut, and midgut is the location of complete digestion and absorption of the food. Right. After midgut, the portion of the last portion of their alimentary canal, we call it hindgut, and this hindgut has ileum, colon and rectum, and the elimination of undigested food particles will be through anus. So these are the parts of ileum, colon and rectum. These are parts of their hindgut. Now at the junction of hindgut, you will find fiber-like or hairy thread-like structure 100 to 150, which help in their excretion at the junction of their midgut and hindgut, and these are called Malpighian tubules. I think we can move forward if this is clear. Okay. Now this is the diagram from NCERT. Whatever we were talking about, everything is given in this diagram. Okay. So after mouth, they have pharynx. Nearby the pharynx and mouth region, they have salivary glands and salivary reservoirs. After that, after pharynx, they have esophagus. From esophagus, it will lead to crop to gizzard, and gizzard to mesenteron or midgut, and from midgut the food will pass into the hindgut that has ileum, colon and rectum. Okay. In between the foregut and midgut, there are hepatic cica or gastric cica. In between midgut and hindgut, will find Malpighian tubule. So the passage of food, it will be like this. It will start with mouth, from mouth to pharynx, from pharynx to esophagus, esophagus to crop to gizzard. The gizzard is the place of grinding of food, and after gizzard there is a junction of foregut and midgut. We will find hepatic cica, okay. Then you have the midgut or mesenteron. After midgut, the junction of midgut and hindgut, will find Malpighian tubules. These are not direct part of alimentary canal. That's why I am writing in a different color. Okay, after midgut, you got the ileum. Remember the spelling of ileum, I-L-E-U-M. After ileum is colon to rectum, and the elimination of undigested food will be there through the dorsal anus. The anus is located dorsally towards that body plane. Okay. Now from mouth to gizzard, this is the foregut, which is lined by cuticle. After foregut, we got midgut or mesenteron. Foregut is also called proctodium, and from ileum to anus, that is the hindgut. Hepatic cica, they are blind tubes, means from one side they are closed. Malpighian tubule, they are thread-like yellowish excretory structure. Basically, with the help of Malpighian tubule, they will convert their nitrogenous waste into uric acid, and that will be deposited inside the hindgut, and along with their like undigested food, their excretory matter uric acid will also be eliminated from their body. So this is all about their digestive system. Okay, now we'll talk about their respiratory system. Sorry, circulatory system. This is circulatory system. Okay, so when you talk about the circulatory system of cockroach, this is open type circulation. Open type circulation means there is no confined pathway like blood vessels through which blood will flow throughout the body. So here basically they have a tubular heart, and that heart has 13 chambers. This 13 chamber tubular heart will pump their colorless blood into their body cavity, and from the body cavity the blood will come back to heart again, and again the heart will pump it back. So that's why basically there is change of their blood in between their heart and body cavity. So that's why we call this process open circulation. Okay, so they have tubular heart with 13 chambers. They don't have blood vessels, no blood vessels. Okay, the heart is present dorsally to their body, and their colorless blood is called hemolymph. They don't have a red colored blood, and that hemolymph or the colorless blood that has plasma and some WBC or phagocytic kind of cells, they are called hemocytes. These hemocytes are basically phagocytic in nature. So inside their blood or hemolymph there is no presence of respiratory pigment. And that is the reason when we will talk about their respiratory system, we will observe that directly their respiratory tubules or respiratory tract is supplying oxygen or helping in the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide directly connected with the tissue and cells. Okay, and their body cavity is filled by this colorless blood, and their body cavity filled by colorless blood is called hemocoel. Body cavity filled by hemolymph, you may call it hemocoel, right? Okay, now what about this diagram from NCERT? The diagram is saying that these are different chambers of heart. So there are 13 chambers, total 13 chambers of heart will be present, and heart always pumps the blood from posterior to anterior. The heart of cockroach pumps the blood from posterior to anterior, and the very first part of the heart, the first chamber, the anterior chamber or the first chamber of the heart has an elongated tubular structure. We call it anterior aorta, through which it supply or pump blood into their head sinus, right? And the heart is attached with the help of some muscular structure. We call them alveolar muscles, and there are total 12 pairs of alary muscles which holds the heart, the chambers of heart with the dorsal roof of their body, right? Okay, so here a little diagram of heart is shown here. So if you observe, this is the dorsal side of their body, this is the ventral side of their body. So their heart is dorsally located. The heart is dorsally located and it has 13 chamber. Heart always pumps blood from posterior to anterior, and the first chamber of heart has an elongated tubular part called anterior aorta. The heart is attached with the dorsal roof of their body with the help of alary muscles. How many alary muscles are there? 12 pairs of alary muscles are there. So basically how alary muscles are helping. So suppose this is the heart of cockroach and this is the dorsal roof. So the alary muscles will hold the heart from a lateral side, and basically the heart is not myogenic like us. The heart doesn't have their own muscle for the pumping capability of the blood. So the alary muscles will help the heart to pump the blood, and the alary muscles will get stimulation from the nervous system. That's why the heart, the pumping of their heart is under neural regulation, and the kind of heart we call it neurogenic heart. So this is how the alary muscle will hold their heart and will help the heart to pump blood from posterior side to anterior side, and their heart is neurogenic type. Okay, now we'll talk about their respiratory system. Okay, one thing I have missed about their heart. So suppose this is the first chamber of the heart. This is the second chamber of the heart. This is the third chamber of the heart. So the chambers are like this. So the opening present here, the posterior side of each chamber, through which the colorless blood will enter into the blood, and the anterior opening, you will find some other openings through which the chamber of heart will pump the blood to the anterior chamber. Okay, these openings are called ostium in singular and ostia in plural, the posterior anterior opening of the chambers of heart, right? And if you ask me that, sir, what is the circulatory pathway of cockroach, then I must say that heart is pumping the blood into the head sinus. See, their body cavity or hemocoel is divided into certain chambers, and those chambers are called sinus. From head sinus, the blood will come into the perineural sinus. Perineural sinus is the ventral sinus. From perineural sinus, the blood will enter into the perivisceral sinus. That is the like middle chamber of their body through which the visceral organs or the alimentary canal will pass. And from perivisceral sinus, the blood will enter into the chamber or the sinus where heart is present, that tubular heart, that is called pericardial sinus. And from pericardial sinus through ostia, blood will enter into the heart, and then again the heart will pump the blood into the head sinus. So this is the pathway through which the blood will circulate into their body, and that is the open system. So the pathway is kind of open circulation. Okay, now let's jump into the next system called respiratory system. So respiratory system, basically their mode of respiration is called tracheal respiration. Okay, so what are the structure associated with the respiratory system? When you talk about tracheal respiration, they have respiratory network of tubes. You can observe throughout the spread throughout their body cavity. They are called trachea. And trachea have some branches called tracheoles, and also like we have nostril through which we inhale or exhale the air, they have spiracles. Okay, and when you talk about the spiracles, they have total 10 pairs of spiracles. They have total 10 pairs of spiracles, 2 pairs thoracic spiracles, they are located into the thoracic region, and 8 pairs abdominal spiracles. Okay, and these spiracles, the opening and closing of the spiracles are controlled by sphincter. Opening and closing of spiracles are regulated by sphincters, they're kind of muscles, and valves. You must remember this. The opening and closing of the spiracles are regulated by some sphincters and valves. Okay. Now with a detailed diagram, I am explaining it. This is head, thorax and abdomen of a cockroach. Okay. Here two pairs of spiracles to the thoracic region, and into the abdominal region 8 pairs of spiracles. With these spiracles, they will inhale air and with the help of first pair of spiracle and third pair of spiracle, they will exhale air in order to maintain the air pressure. So they can inhale through all the spiracles, but they can exhale through first pair of spiracles and third pair of spiracles. Okay. So this is the opening of spiracles, and inside spiracle the tubular part, that is called trachea, and the trachea will be divided into branches called tracheoles. Like our respiratory passage. And these tracheoles are directly connected to the tissue or cells. So they are directly supplying blood, oxygen to the tissue, to the cells. And these trachea and tracheoles, they are supported with chitinous plates, like our respiratory tree, our trachea, our bronchi supported with cartilaginous plates. The spiracles will be guarded by sphincter muscle as well as valves. So this opening is called spiracle. This is trachea, and the branches of trachea, tracheoles. They directly supply oxygen to the cells. Okay. So we are done with the digestive system, we are done with circulatory system of cockroach, we are done with respiratory system of cockroach. Remember, there is no respiratory pigment present into their blood. That's why tracheoles or the branches of trachea directly supplying oxygen to their cells as well as help in exchange of carbon dioxide. Okay. Now after that, there are many systems we have to study. We have to study excretory system, we have to study their nervous system, we have to study their reproductive system. Okay, now it's time to study their excretory system. Excretion in cockroach. Now remember, cockroaches, their major excreta is urea. Their major excreta is urea. Excreta means metabolic waste. And all the animals will be excreting urea, extremely sorry, their excreta is not urea. When you talk about the excretory system or the excretion of cockroach, then their excreta is uric acid. Yes, all the animals who excrete out uric acid as their metabolic waste, we call them uricotelic animal. Okay. When we'll study the chapter of excretory products and elimination, then we will get to know certain kind of terrestrial adaptation help them to evolve their mechanism of excretion as uricotelic mechanism, because uric acid that can be stored inside the body, that can be stored as solid form, that can be eliminated out with the help of crystal or hard or soft pellets, even with the time of during the time of defecation. When the cockroach will pass their stool, along with that stool they will mix the uric acid crystal, and that's how they are doing egestion and excretion. Okay, now we'll talk about some excretory structures. There are numerous excretory structure present in the body of cockroach. So the main structure of excretion is Malpighian tubules. They have 100 to 150 Malpighian tubules, and they are yellowish in color. And where you will find these Malpighian tubules? At the junction of midgut and hindgut. What is the function of this Malpighian tubules? They convert, first they absorb potassium urate form hemolymph and convert it into this nitrogenous waste is converted into uric acid, and this is their excretory product and released into hindgut as crystals along with their like defecated or undigested food particles. Okay, what about other excretory structure? They can excrete through with the help of their fat bodies. The fat bodies are also called as urate cells. They can excrete through the cells, special cell present into their heart. This is called nephrocytes. They can excrete through their exoskeleton. They can excrete through their exoskeleton during their molting. What do you mean by molting? When they will gain a size, when they will become larger, they have 13 stages of molting. They will shed out the old exoskeleton and they will regenerate new one. So when they are growing from inside, gradually they keep storing the uric acid inside their exoskeleton, and when they are performing the process of molting, they will release those excretory products as well. They can excrete they can excrete during the time of their reproduction. Okay, basically in male cockroach they have special glands, right? And obviously they can excrete through uricose gland. Basically these are part of mushroom gland of male cockroach. Okay, now we'll talk about neural system of cockroach. And when you talk about their neural system, it is made up of ganglia, lateral nerve cords, and nerve rings. Okay. Now, very basic a sentence about their nervous system or statement. The nervous system is located, it's double ventral solid ladder like nerve cords. Okay, now why I'm telling that their nervous system is ladder like, will explain with proper diagram. Okay, few more things. The minimum part of their nervous system that is present into their head part, and the maximum part of their nervous system that is present into their body. So that is the reason, if you behead a cockroach, if you cut the head of a cockroach without the head, without the brain, it can survive almost 2 weeks, 10 to 15 days. Okay, that is the reason, because the minimum portion of the nervous system that is present into their head. So that's why I'm writing here, without head they can, without head cockroach can survive for 10 days. Okay, by listening this statement, many of my fellow students, they are saying we are surviving since like from 2006 2007 we are surviving for 15 years, 16 years, some 17 or 18 years even without head. So what's the big deal in surviving just 10 days without the brain, without the head, right? Okay, now I'll draw a diagram of the nervous system of cockroach. This is the head, this is the prothorax, mesothorax, metathorax, abdomen, compound eyes, antennas. Okay, now remember, the thoracic segments have 3 large ganglia and abdominal segments have 6 smaller ganglia. The last ganglia is present at the 7th segment of their abdomen. Okay, so what I just said, 3 larger thoracic ganglia and 6 smaller abdominal ganglia. Okay, with this ganglia you'll find that their double ventral nerve cords are connected, and they are supplying nerve connection to the different parts of their body. Okay, now let's come into their head portion. Now their head portion has 2 large ganglions, one is supraesophageal, one is subesophageal, and they are connected by circumesophageal connectives. Okay, so that's why you can observe that if you count the left part of their nerve cord and the right part of their nerve cord, it looks like a ladder. That's why there is a double ventral ladder like solid nerve cord. So let's sum up the things whatever we were studying right now. So if we talk about their head region, head has a supraesophageal ganglia. Basically that is a fusion of three ganglions, and that can be called as brain of cockroach. This supraesophageal ganglia that supply nerve connection to their eyes and antenna. Remember. Okay. Another ganglia, subesophageal ganglia, and a circumesophageal connective that connects the supraesophageal and subesophageal. So if this is the esophagus, above the esophagus the ganglia is present, that is the supraesophageal. Below the esophagus the ganglia is present, that is subesophageal. Supraesophageal ganglia that is sending nerve connection to their compound eyes and antenna basically, and the subesophageal ganglia they're sending the nerve supply to their mouth parts. They're connected by circumesophageal connectives. Okay, now let's talk about their thorax region. Thorax has three large ganglia, and obviously the branches of these ganglia they will be providing connection to their legs and wings. And abdomen region has 6 small ganglia. And remember the last ganglia that is present at 7th segment of their abdomen, and probably that is sending nerve supply to the anal cerci. Okay, so that was about the nervous system. Now we will study their reproductive system. Okay, first we will study the male reproductive system. See, their primary reproductive organs or gonads are one pair of lobed testes. One pair of testes. This is the right testis and this is the left testis. Okay. And where they are located? You have to mention the segment to segment. They are expanded from the fourth to sixth segment of their abdomen. Location of testes, right? So inside the testes they will produce sperm and spermatogenesis will take place. Okay. Now from testes these pipes, these tubes are coming which are carrying the sperms. We call them vas deferens. So after testis we will get vas deferens. Now the vas deferens will go and merge with a gland here called seminal vesicle. Okay. Now, seminal vesicle will act as a temporary storage of sperm, and seminal vesicle will form a sperm ball here by sticking multiple sperms together. See, our sperm we inseminate in the form of a liquid, that means a seminal plasma liquid, nutritive plasma is there, and inside that the sperms are thriving. But for cockroach, they will release sperm as a hard ball called spermatophore, and the spermatophore formation will start just inside the seminal vesicle. Okay. Now, this seminal vesicle, that is a part of a flower-like gland, which is also can be called as mushroom gland or mushroom-shaped gland. This flower-like gland, that is called mushroom gland. Okay. Now, this mushroom gland has two parts. The inside of this mushroom gland, there are certain small tubules, and outside of that we'll get some long tubules. The mushroom gland has some long tubules and some small tubules. Okay. So these small tubules, long tubules and seminal vesicles together, they will form a flower shaped gland or a mushroom shaped gland. Okay. These long tubules and small tubules, they will also secrete some nutrition rich fluid, which are gonna help the formation of that sperm ball or spermatophore, right? Okay. Now, ventrally to this mushroom gland, we'll observe there is another gland located here, ventral to the mushroom gland, and name of this gland is phallic gland or conglobate gland. Ventrally to the mushroom gland, there is another gland, that is phallic gland. Now, sometimes the location of mushroom gland is also asked. So, the location of mushroom gland is from 6th to 7th segment, right? Okay. I'm extremely sorry. Now, from this mushroom gland downwards towards the posterior end of their body, one tubule is coming, that is the ejaculatory duct, through which they will ejaculate their sperms. Okay, ejaculatory duct, basically it's connected to the ejaculatory duct. This is connected to the seminal vesicle. This duct is coming from seminal vesicle. Okay, from the phallic gland, another duct is coming, that is called phallic duct. Right. Now, this portion of cockroach, the end part of the abdomen, we call this part as genital pouch, and in this region you will find the external genitalia or phallomere of the male cockroach. In this region of genital pouch, you will find external genitalia. They are associated structure of cockroach, which will help the male cockroach to deliver the sperm ball inside the reproductive tract of female cockroach during the time of their copulation. Yes, they perform internal fertilization, so there will be copulation, though they don't have proper copulatory organs or something like penis, but with the help of this particular structure, which we call phallomeres, or external genitalia or gonapophyses, with this structure they will deliver the sperm ball inside the reproductive tract of female, right? Okay, so let's talk about this phallomeres, the structures of phallomeres. So there are three phallomeres: left phallomere, ventral phallomere and right phallomere. Okay, so where you will find the left phallomere, the phallomere through which the phallic duct, the opening of phallic duct will be there through the phallomere called left phallomere, present in the left side. Okay, the opening of ejaculatory duct is through a phallomere called the ventral phallomere, and just near to that ventral phallomere you will get another phallomere, that is the right phallomere. So through left phallomere there is opening of phallic duct, through ventral phallomere there is opening of ejaculatory duct, and the opening of ejaculatory duct through the ventral phallomere is also called as genital opening or gonopore. Okay, now this gonopore is located ventrally. Remember, they have dorsal anus and ventral genital opening. They have dorsal anus and ventral genital opening. It's like this. If this is the cockroach, head, thorax and abdomen, here there will be anal opening and here there will be genital opening. So that's why the anus is present dorsally and genital opening is present ventrally. Okay, and with left phallomere you will find some associated structure called pseudopenis and titillator. Basically these won't act like penis, but the pseudopenis and titillator, they will act like hook to attach the abdomen, to grab the abdomen of the female cockroach while they are performing the copulation, right? Okay, so I was talking about their genital pouch. So genital pouch is a pouch or sac like structure of their abdomen, okay, where you will find most of the important reproductive structure. So for male cockroach, the genital pouch is made by 9th and 10th targa and 9th sterna. So for male cockroach, genital pouch is protected inside 9th and 10th, means last two tergites and last sternites. So if I draw the diagram, it will be like this. This is the head of the cockroach, this is the thorax, and this is the abdomen. So these two are the last tergites, 9th terga and 10th tergites, and this is the 9th sterna or 9th sterna. So in this location there will be formation of genital pouch. For male cockroach. Okay, now again with another diagram I am making it more simpler how to draw the reproductive system of male cockroach. This is the abdominal part, left testis, right testis, From testis, vas deferens will emerge, and this vas deferens will come and join into the seminal vesicle, and the seminal vesicle, that is a part of mushroom gland. Inwards you will get the small tubules, outwards you will get the long tubules. So this is the mushroom gland. From the seminal vesicle you will find the ejaculatory duct is coming down. Okay, behind this structure there is another gland, club-shaped gland called conglobate or phallic gland, and the phallic duct will be coming from the left side. Okay, the left side you will get the structure of the phallomere, titillator and pseudopenis, and from this left phallomere there is opening of this phallic duct. Okay, now come to this side. Here we will get another phallomere through which you will get the opening of the ejaculatory duct, and this is the ventral phallomere. And near to this ventral phallomere we will get another part of phallomere. This is the right phallomere. So this was all about the reproductive structure of male cockroach. The testis located in between 4 to 6 segment, as well as the mushroom gland that is located near to 6th to 7th segment. Now let's complete the topic of female reproductive system of cockroach. Female reproductive system. Okay, so the female reproductive system is like that. They have 2 ovaries, and the location of the ovaries is between 2nd to 6th segment. Okay, each ovary, one ovary has 8 ovarioles. So both the ovary they will have 16 ovarioles, and inside the ovarioles, so if this is the ovary, this unit like structure, these units we will find here, these are the ovarioles, and inside each ovariole there will be formation of their ova. Okay, now from ovary the ducts are coming down, we call them oviducts. So there is right oviduct and left oviduct. Both the oviduct will join together to form common oviduct. This common oviduct is also called as vagina, and this common oviduct will open into the genital chamber with the help of genital opening or gonopore. This gonopore will open into genital chamber. and genital chamber is a part of genital pouch. Right. Okay. So this total structure is basically genital pouch. Okay, I'm starting from ovary, oviduct, common oviduct or vagina. Oviduct will open through genital opening or gonopore, and this upper chamber of this genital pouch, that is called genital chamber. The lower chamber of this genital pouch is called vestibule or uthecal chamber. Okay. So near to the fifth segment, fifth to sixth segment, there is the gland present, which we call the spermatheca, not a gland, a sac-like structure, which will store the sperms after the population which they got from the male cockroach. So this chamber is called spermatheca. So spermatheca basically is a storage of sperm, a chamber of storage of sperm which is present into the female cockroach. Remember, spermatheca is not present in male cockroach. Now from where they got the sperm? Again we have to look back into the male reproductive system. The sperms were produced by the testis, and through the vas deferens the sperm will be transported into the seminal vesicle. Now there will be formation of sperm ball. Now this sperm ball will come out through the ejaculatory duct. Now I'm extremely sorry. Now when this sperm ball is coming out through the ejaculatory duct, the layers, outer layers will be formed by the secretion of ejaculatory duct and mushroom gland, and when they are trying to deliver the sperm ball out of their body, the third layer of the sperm ball will be secreted by the phallic gland, and it will complete the formation of the sperm ball, which we call spermatophore. And this spermatophore will be given to the or will be inserted into the female reproductive tract inside the genital chamber during the time of fertilization with the help of these phallomeres, right? So it's the spermatophore which is transferred to the female cockroach. Okay, and as soon as the spermatophore will get entry inside the female cockroach, the outer covering of the spermatophore will get dissolved and the sperm will escape inside the spermatheca, and when the ova are ready, gradually they will release the ova into the genital chamber, and sperms will also be released into the genital chamber. Now the process of reproduction will take place inside the genital chamber of genital pouch. After completion of the process of reproduction, two more glands will help to protect those fertilized eggs, and we call these glands collateral gland. There are two collateral gland, left collateral gland and right collateral gland. Left one is larger than the right collateral gland. So the secretion of the collateral gland will ultimately form a chitinous pouch which is filled with fertilized egg, and that is formed inside the vestibular oothecal chamber, and this chitinous pouch is called ootheca. Ootheca is carrying 14 to 16 fertilized egg. Now, who is responsible for formation of this ootheca? Secretion of collateral gland. Secretion of collateral gland. So, it's the collateral gland will produce ootheca. Do not get confused between spermatheca and ootheca. Spermatheca is a sac-like structure present into the female reproductive system, which is responsible to store the sperms. Ootheca that is formed after the fertilization, and that is made by secretion, capsule-like structure, secretion of collateral gland, and that protects, that will encapsulate 14 to 16 fertilized egg inside it. Okay, so this is how a female cockroach will carry the ootheca, and upon the completion of formation of ootheca, they will glue this ootheca in a safe place. So when we are talking about this ootheca, it is a chitinous capsule and inside each ootheca there will be 14 to 16 fertilized eggs. Right, so basically it's an egg purse, and in a lifespan one female cockroach can produce 9 to 10 ootheca. Right, so this is how a ootheca looks like. Sorry, an ootheca looks like. Now we are done with studying the female reproductive system and male reproductive system. So the last topic is about the fertilization and formation of new progeny. So the mode of fertilization will be internal fertilization, and after or upon fertilization the ootheca is produced, and when the eggs are matured inside, gradually the juveniles will come out and we will be calling them nymph. Okay, so if we talk about the life cycle of cockroach, adult will lay eggs, is because they are oviparous in nature. From eggs, nymph will hatch out. From eggs, nymph will hatch out. Now, what do you mean by nymph? They are adult-like juveniles. They are not larval stage basically. Now, the nymph will run through different stages of development. Basically, we call them molting. So there will be 13 molting stages. The nymph it will be crossing, and after that again the adult will be formed. So this is what their life cycle looks like. Okay, so these are the matured cockroach, right? How you can differentiate between a male and female cockroach? See, differentiation of male and female cockroach is very much easier. You have to check their abdomen and wings, right? Okay, so how observing wings you can differentiate between a male and female cockroach? So I can say that this is the male cockroach and this is the female cockroach. Now you will ask, sir, how was you are so sure about that? So the wings of, or particularly the forewings of the male cockroach completely covering the abdomen. You cannot observe the last segment here. Okay, and this is the female cockroach because you can observe the abdomen is little bit wider and the forewings are unable to cover the abdominal segment completely. You can observe the last segment of abdominal part. So if forewing is completely covering the abdomen in a mature cockroach, that is a male, there is a male cockroach. In if forewing is unable to cover the abdominal segment completely, even the last segment is visible and the abdomen is wider, then obviously there is a female cockroach. There is one more method, like by observing anal cerci also you can determine. Anal cerci is present in both the cases of male cockroach and female cockroach, but anal style is present only in case of male cockroach. That's how you can differentiate between a male and female cockroach. That is called sexual dimorphism. What I said, sexually dimorphic, male and female, they are morphologically distinct from each other. So this is their ootheca. When ootheca, inside the ootheca, when the eggs will hatch out, it will form this tiny miniature version of cockroach that is called the first stage of nymph, or you can also call them instars, right? Basically nymph, they are not larva. Larva and adults, they are morphologically distinct, but nymph and adult, they are morphologically similar, just they're differing into their size. Okay, and one more thing, the adults, they have wings, and most of the stages of nymphs you won't be finding wings, right? If I'm talking about Periplaneta americana. Okay, but the last stage of, or last nymphal stage, or next to last, that means next to last molting, that means after the 13th molting, it will become adult and it will have the wings, right? So the nymphal stage after the 12th molting, it will have a short wing kind of structure which we call wing pads. So wing pads are visible. Visible in case of the last nymphal stage, because if you are counting the stages of molting, after 13th molting it will become adult. So the stage after the 12th molting, it has the wing pad. There is a structure, precursor structure by which later on the wings will be produced. Okay, so this is the process of molting. This is also called as ecdysis. Now what happens basically during the time of molting or ecdysis, they will shed their old exoskeleton, this brownish dark brownish exoskeleton, and you can observe a bright white colored nymphal stage is coming out. So basically, this is not, if you in your home, if you observe sometime a cockroach like insect, but which is white in color, you don't think that that is the albino cockroach. There is a freshly molted cockroach only, right? Okay, and for this process of molting and ecdysis, certain hormones will also help them. But in our syllabus, we don't have to study about those hormones. There are hormones, juvenile hormones, ecdysons. We don't have to study them, right? So let's solve this question. So in male cockroaches, sperms are stored in seminal vesicle, mushroom glands, spermatheca, vas deferens. Vas deferens, no. Spermatheca, no. In male cockroach, sperms are stored in seminal vesicles. So this is our answer. In female cockroach, sperms are stored in spermatheca. In male cockroach, temporarily sperms are stored in seminal vesicle. When they will be making this, they will be gluing those individual sperm and will form a sperm ball. Later on, we will call it spermatophore, right? So with this, I'm ending this lecture of cockroach. Okay, again you can watch it into 2x speed as well. Obviously this is I can say that this is a kind of less important topic. You can expect one question from this. So in the previous year there wasn't any question from this particular topic, though it's not given in the new NCERT, but for the sake of our entire syllabus for NEET exam, we have to study the whole topic of cockroach. And obviously do not forget to check our PW app. Again I am telling, do not forget to check our PW app. The link is given in the description box just below here. Okay, you can click it and that will redirect you towards PW app and my batch. If you subscribe my batch, okay, for now it's free. If you subscribe my batch, you will get access, and obviously you will be getting some practice sheets and DPPs to solve. And yes, obviously when you are solving some questions, sometimes you feel that assertion and reason time question, assertion and reason, those types of questions you feel really difficult to solve them, right? So my DPPs are laden with assertion, reason and statement based questions, right? So I'm following the trend. Obviously the quality of questions are also really good. See, I'm having nearly 11 years of experience in teaching NEET students, and many of my students are studying in multiple medical colleges, many students, right? They're studying in many colleges, many medical colleges. So with my experience, I'm curating some really important questions, as well as handwritten notes are also available in our PW app. Please go and check those, and if you like the videos, please do follow and subscribe our channel, that is PW NEET English. And also I'll be coming with the chapters, all the chapters of class 11 and 12 in coming days. Obviously I will try to cover each and every chapter by the month of January or February. Okay, till then I'm coming with the next chapter, next topic. So for today it's bye bye from my side. Stay healthy, stay safe. Jai Hind.